Hey Snapchat, today I'm going to cover the topic of starting a company. How should you think about market? How do you get started? What is a great idea? The biggest impediment from wantrepreneur to entrepreneur, of course, is just getting starting in the first place. And the number one problem I hear from most people who want to start businesses, I don't really know what to do. I don't have a great idea. I don't have a killer idea. There are some entrepreneurs that are genuinely inspired and have a really big disruptive idea from the start. But most entrepreneurship starts small and incremental and then leads to a breakthrough idea. Think about Uber, Airbnb, Dropbox. None of those started out as big an idea as they became. And the problem comes from the tech press that focuses way too much on billion-dollar or $10 billion ideas from the outset. And people meeting with VCs too early. And VCs also want to focus on billion or 10 billion. So you get feedback from people that there's not enough white space above you, that it's not a big enough market opportunity. I like to tell most entrepreneurs, don't worry about the super big idea from when you get started. Focus on base camp. For me, the analogy is if you want to scale the peak of a really big mountain, you first need to get to that first layer or base camp. And when you get to base camp, you'll start to survey the various routes to scale the mountain. It's much easier to see the routes to the top when you're already at base camp. Sometimes you start scaling a mountain one way and you get there and you realize that the mountain won't go high enough in that direction. And when you get there, you may realize that you either need to pivot, you may need to accept that this just isn't going to be as big as you thought it was. That's why usually I'm in favor of not raising too much capital too early, because only when you start to scale the mountain do you realize how big it can be. If the white space was knowable, if the journey was knowable, somebody else would have already done it. That's what drives me crazy about VC feedback, about wanting to focus on billion-dollar opportunities before they've even started. Focusing on base camp won't make it easy to raise VC from the get-go, but it is a more predictable way to build a business. At each altitude that you reach, you can make the decision of whether or not you want to go higher or raise more money. And from certain vantage points, when you reach a certain local peak, you realize now that you've got a clear shot at the top. When you can see the peak of the mountain and you can see that you have the best shot at getting there, that's when you want to go really big. That's all I got for today. If you find yourself in Santa Monica or Brentwood, make sure to come check out the Farmers Mart and the Farm Shop. You'll thank me later.